Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. So today we're going to be reacting on 5 things I don't understand about Finnish society, life in Finland. So let's go check out those 5 things this particular person does not understand about Finnish society, because I myself would love to know as well. So let's go check this one out.
Yes, there is still things about Finnish society that I simply do not understand. What's up? Welcome to Couple of Expats, where we talk about life in Finland. We talk about studying, we talk about working, and most importantly, we talk about living in Finland. My name is Megha, and today we are talking about things that I don't understand about Finnish society. Okay, so you know that I've been living here for 7 years now, and we love our life in Finland, but there are still some things I don't really understand, and I hope that in this video you can give me some clarity about why things are the way they are in Finland. So you can, for example, tell us in the comments from a historical perspective, from a societal perspective, why these things are the way they are. So let's go. Okay, the first thing I really don't understand, and it kind of bugs me, is why is it such a big deal to talk about salaries in Finland? So this is a society that really stresses upon transparency. You guys love your transparency. You guys really are all in for transparency, but when it comes to salary, things can get very awkward. And for example, you can't really ask people how much they make in Finland. It's considered rude, it's awkward, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I think I have also heard that it is there might be some legal things about why you cannot ask your colleagues how much money
Are
they
you
make.
serious?
I'm not entirely sure about this one, but really, what is it? Is it really that big of a deal to know what someone else is making in Finland? I think salary discussions, well, could be much more open, but that is just my opinion. Now, I also know that I'm not the only one who wishes for salary transparency. I have seen discussions on LinkedIn about this as well. And there are some people who are advocates for salary transparency, for example, for putting the salary when there is a job listing. So people already don't need to wonder, they don't need to guess, but it is quite clear how much one would make. Also, I think trade unions play a very big part when it comes to knowing what is an appropriate salary for the job that you're applying for. But yes, this aspect of Finnish society leaves me with some question marks.
Same here.
By the way, can we take a minute to appreciate what a beautiful day it is? Yay! All right, let's continue. Finnish people, why is it such a big deal to talk to your neighbor? I know y'all do talk. You do talk to people when you're walking your dogs outside, or some other occasions as well, occasionally. But why are neighbors such a big deal? Like, wouldn't it be nice to know who you're living next to? Okay, you don't need to know everything about them, but isn't it better to have like one warm smile and hello rather than pretending they don't exist and just being
Why? Why are you guys like
anyway,
that?
here's how you know that I am Indian and not Finnish. But I really don't understand the big deal about avoiding your neighbors. And we lived in a kerrostalo for several in an apartment building for several years, and I think there it is even more awkward than when we live in a rivitalo right now, row houses, because in kerrostalo it's like if people are going outside for the lift at the same time, one person will stop just to avoid meeting your neighbor.
Are you serious?
It's really that hard to just nod. Perhaps it is. Let me know. And can I just say that once foreigners or internationals like myself move to Finland, I think we catch up with the Finnish stereotypes or Finnish societal norms really quickly. Let me give you an example. So 7 years, and we technically have never really known anything about our neighbors. I think we've been just like, we don't want them to scare them off. We don't want them to think that we are weird. And okay, maybe we're quite private people ourselves, so it has always been just like a awkward smile, maybe a moi, and that's about it. So I think a lot of us are guilty of becoming very Finnish in Finland. Have you noticed yourself doing the same thing? Maybe you have. Okay, point number 3. Why is individualism so important in Finland? I understand Sisu. I understand some of it. But a lot of it also is kind of a question mark to me. For example, we know that if you have a Finnish double bed, that people use single blankets rather than using a double blanket. So single duvets each rather than having one common blanket. And then the answer is because you don't want to be playing tug of war with the blanket all night. But that's also mystifying a little bit of how individual Finns are. And also we've noticed at the grocery store that even if a couple is like shopping together, they're doing their groceries, they probably live together, but they pay separately.
Why?
Which also kind of seems a little odd to me. Of course, people are paying their own expenses. We also, what we do is we basically pay together and then we split our expenses every 1 week, 2 weeks, something like that, so that both are paying their halves. But we have never really had separate carts at the grocery store and paid separately. So I think that's a little bit funny for me as well. So the next thing is being friends with Finnish people. Why does the warm-up period take so long for becoming friends with Finnish people? It can take months. And it can take like several weeks for Finnish people to even acknowledge that you exist. And it can take months to break the ice. And I think a lot of internationals talk about this, that this is just, it takes a lot longer in Finland than it would in other parts of the world where you can become friends faster. But I understand that in Finland, once you make friends for life. So maybe it's just the vetting process. Am I right? Maybe your vetting process is very long because you don't want to be stuck with the wrong person for life. Another thing. So I'm sure someone's going to point out in the comments that if you want to be friends with Finnish people, just grab a beer or 2 or 3 or 10. So that's great. But so what if there are some people who don't like drinking? And I do know that the younger generations, the younger Gen Z, like they are more health conscious and they might not drink as much. So have you made any friends that you actually don't drink with? Because I'm sure there are some people who want to socialize but do not want to partake, do not want to drink alcohol. So what about them? All right, so Chris just had a very good question that I think that I must share with you. Is the warm-up period for friendships a little bit shorter if you go ice swimming with them or to sauna with them? Maybe then that speeds up the process. All right, so we've come to the 5th point, and I hope I haven't offended all Finnish people collectively. And I just want to say that is obviously not my point. I am trying to understand a little bit of this culture and share the things that I have noticed. And I think some of you might have noticed these things too. So one more thing that I've noticed is that, well, standing out is kind of frowned upon in Finnish society. Like, don't draw attention to yourself. Don't do anything that, causes everyone to look and stare, and basically that everyone is the same and you are not special. Does this come from your education system, or where does this come from? I was reading about Jante in Denmark, and it really reminded me of something that's kind of what I've seen in Finland as well, even though I suppose that's a Danish concept, not a Finnish concept. But yeah, it had me thinking that I have really noticed that here, and I don't quite understand what the point is and what it brings. And quite frankly, this is one that I feel is pretty contradictory to how I have lived my life, because growing up in India, growing up in the US, I always felt that I needed to prove myself to, if I'm going to be something. I always felt that, you know, I have to be the best, I have to recognize what I'm good at and really just stand out from the crowd. And that seems almost quite contradictory to the Finnish way. Okay, so those are things that I am still yet to understand about Finnish society. We are going to continue our walk. It is a gorgeous, gorgeous day, and I hope you have a lovely weekend.
So these are the things that she's yet to understand about Finnish society. And I feel like it's coming from her own point of view. According to her, she has stayed in Finland for 7 years. So I feel like she has learned a lot of things. She has mingled with few Finnish people and neighbors. So she has literally seen things, and this is like her own fair share of what she feels, and it makes sense because a lot of foreigners who stay in Finland have one or two things to talk about the Finnish people. Some would say they are big on silence, they don't talk to their neighbors, they just keep to themselves and whatnot. This is our own idea and it makes sense, it's allowed, right? What do you guys think about what she has made mention of? Let me know on the comment section, right? Thank you so much for sticking around with me. See you guys in my next one. Bye.